Welcome, ladies and gents, to the Hcast episode 25. We have some topics for you today. It's not an action-packed stream, but it will be interesting nonetheless. The sort of world of news at the moment, we're at a bit of a slump because there's been a whole bunch of movies come out. March was chock-a-block every single week with movies. And obviously all the news surrounding that. And then we got a little bit of a dry patch. There's still movies coming out, but a little bit of a dry patch until the blockbusters and then San Diego Comic-Con, all this kind of stuff. And then boom, we'll sort of hit the ground running with more news, I would imagine. So we've got a fairly interesting topic stuff to cover today. So, you know, the thumbnail of the video is literally the worst rebrand ever or something like that. Anyway, HBO Max is no more. It's just called Max. It's just the most it's the most fucking ridiculous title I've ever heard, ever. It's so dumb. So we want to talk about that because we want to talk about it. I mean, it's just bizarre. We'll get into it. Jonathan Majors' Kang is rumored to be out, so we're going to be covering that as well. As some elements just off the back end of HBO Max. So HBO Max, during their sort of Max panel, released some stuff. The primary one I want to cover is the Penguin trailer. It's a in-production trailer. It's something that they did obviously to bump up their sort of stock and shares, I would imagine. We'll cover that. Trailer looks good. Didn't have the added benefit that they wanted it to. And then I do want to talk about a little bit of The Mandalorian. And there might be some other bits and pieces that drop as we sort of dive into this and sort of get through these topics. So I'm joined by Culture Casino and Nick from Echo Base Network. Culture Casino is Culture Casino, and that's why I don't say Culture Casino from Culture Casino. So how are you both? You good?
I was having a bad week after the Mando episode, after Star Wars Celebration. Then I watched the latest episode of Picard season 3, and I'm feeling great. Anybody that's a fan of TNG is absolutely gonna love this last episode. It was so freaking good. So yeah, I'm in a good mood today.
Does it save Star Trek?
No. This whole season's not going to save Star Trek. It's a complete one-off, but it's so well done. The writing in it, top notch.
They have actually announced a whole bunch of new projects on the back end of it, though, haven't they? So, you know, it might not save Star Trek from that perspective, but it has reinvigorated Paramount's commitment to making more series, because they have announced a whole bunch of stuff, if I remember rightly.
That they have, but it's more the Kurtzman Trek stuff, and the people that are involved in it are not Star Trek people. So it's probably going to just end up after the season of Picard. It's looking like it's just going to go back to more same old Kurtzman Trek that everybody hated. So I don't know.
It makes them so much money, doesn't it? It's good for them.
Yeah.
For somehow, some reason.
Yeah.
We're just joined now, just with the skin of his teeth. We got Andre from Midnight Surge. How you doing, buddy?
Andre might have watched.
Everyone, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Have you been watching?
I just checked in, so I have no idea what we've been talking about so far.
Nick was saying he's having a bad week, but then he watched the latest episode of Picard, and that picked him up. Have you watched Picard?
I haven't. I haven't seen it yet. I mean, that's the one thing I look forward to this week. So no spoilers, please.
Okay.
You're gonna love it, Andre.
I'm sure. I mean, it's been amazing. Isn't it amazing? Like how. Actually, the spoiler from the editorial I'm working on right now in this moment, how The Mandalorian and Picard has flipped. The first two seasons of Picard were absolutely hated by fans.
Yeah.
And the season 3 absolutely loved. I mean, you would never have thought it the way that Robert Meyer Burnett was praising it, but it turns out he was right. And then the exact opposite on The Mandalorian. Everyone loved the first, Nate and myself were among the first two defenders of The Mandalorian.
We were, I
but
remember.
People came around to it, and they all thought we were nuts. And Gina Carano was like another Ray and everything. It was just the two of us bravely fighting for The Mandalorian. And then everyone else came around, and retroactively, the first two seasons were loved. And now season 3, is regarded in much the way that Picard seasons 1 and 2 were. Funny how that works.
Yeah.
So, well, I've not been watching Picard, so I literally got nothing to add to that, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
they've lost it. They lost my goodwill for.
But
Picard,
the beauty is you don't actually have to have seen seasons 1 and 2. Like, you can give you like a 1-sentence summary and you're good.
But here's the difference. Season 1. I have seen season 1, so that's why I don't want to watch season 3.
Well,
and I know it's good.
I've also seen season 1. I never seen season 2. Never will. But
yeah, same.
Incredibly, they're actually able to find a way to all of that shit from season 1 that still carries over. They found a way to redeem all of it.
Right.
Night and day difference.
Well, maybe
it was possible, but they actually
did. Maybe when it's all done, I'll binge it and then just do an overall review. We shall see. Yeah. So, first topic is this bizarre HBO Max rebrand. I want to talk about it. We've got to talk about it. What are they doing? What are they actually doing? Why the rebrand? It seems so very strange. To me, doesn't really make any sense. Why they would do this? It seems HBO Max renamed Max.
So boring, generic, lacking creativity for names.
I mean, it doesn't tell you anything, does it? Like, no. Let's be honest. The wait is over, as if we've all been waiting, ladies and gents. Warner Brothers Discovery on Wednesday unveiled Max. I mean, that might as well just be a sex bot. No one knows what Max is, right? It's refresh streaming service, combining programming from both of the original HBO Max streaming services and Discovery Plus. So you've removed 2 big name brands, Discovery and HBO Max, 2 brands, like things which people go, I know what that is, and just gone, Max. So we're going to call it that instead. So dumb. It launches May 23rd. Max will cost $15.99 a month for the ad-free version and $9.99 a month for the ad-supported tier. A third ultimate ad-free version with 4K Ultra HD resolution, 100 offline downloads and Dolby Atmos sound. That's quite good. Will be available for $19.99 a month. So unveiling the updated product at an event at the Warner Brothers lot in Burbank, Warner Brothers Discovery President and CEO of Streaming and Games said Max will feature personalized recommendations. What's different here? Personalized recommendations across platforms for users after they finish watching a TV show or film, just like Netflix. Previously, this was only available on the HBO Max homepage app, and video start times are also expected to be 20 to 30% faster. So, that, depending on device and presumably internet connection. Perrette said to help address glitchiness that viewers have long taken issue with on the preceding HBO Max platform. Existing HBO Max subscribers will maintain their access to the rebranded Max at the same price. With profiles, watch history. Look, the short of it is, guys, what on earth are they doing? Why? Any ideas? Any ideas?
Well, can I just say that I'm grateful they didn't just add a plus to the back of it?
But you might,
for sure.
But you've lost what Max Plus or just HBO Max Plus, like because they've lost the name recognition.
But they never should have changed from HBO Go. They actually had a successful nameplate with that. And again, the only reason that they're doing this is so they can bring in some of the Discovery content, right? Even though Discovery is going to continue on at its own for $6.99, right? And you know, it's funny because I've just been watching. You know, I've been watching very closely the non-reaction from the trade media on this. And the only people that went after it was Variety in a VIP article saying it's underbaked. Yes, this is an underbaked idea. This is bad.
Massively. Warner Brothers Discovery stock slides after Max streaming rebrand. I mean, you've stated already that it's gone up a little bit, but not massively. I mean, it dropped by nearly 6%.
Oh no, but I mean today it's on the rise, not much. It's up by 13 cents. But to be fair, it wasn't terribly high to begin with. I mean, it's 14.19 is where we sit right now. But it looks like the 5-day high was right before this announcement, which was 1546. So it's like it's moved about, or 1540, 1554, I guess, was the high. But that was right before this move. And they make this move and then it dips. That's just weird. But they're up a little bit today. And who knows? They may trend the right direction.
But it's interesting, isn't it? Because this is, in the world of streaming wars, the streaming wars, you would have thought that Max has no brand. It's not a brand. It's an actual name of a person.
And they should have just left. They should have just left it HBO, or And again, they've discarded the lengthy brand history of HBO.
Well, everyone knows what even people in the UK know what HBO is. Yeah. Even people in the UK know what HBO is. Right? Yeah. We don't get cable.
People in Uganda know HBO, the brand.
Yeah. Max is a meaningless trash name. HBO's iconic worldwide.
Not only that, here's the thing. Max is also such a generic name that all over the world, you have a number of television stations, all with different brandings that are all called Max. Like, for instance, in the Nordic, we already have a Max here. I'm not saying that
burger joint, isn't it?
World, obviously, but and also a burger joint, for instance. Yeah, that's a Swedish one. I'm surprised you knew that. Yeah, okay, so fine. In the Nordic, we have then 2 Maxes already, none of which have anything to do with HBO, even remotely. And wherever you go, there's going to be some kind of a Max. And you already have HBO, which is already well known across the entire planet. Wherever they have Game of Thrones, wherever they have Sopranos, wherever they had Oz, wherever they had Rome, they all know that this is HBO. Well, Chernobyl, also HBO. HBO is a brand. And to me, this is the shocking thing. It's a worldwide brand, and they're discarding it in favor of the most freaking generic thing they possibly could find.
Can you imagine if Coke or Nike just changed their name to Max?
Yeah, I was like making like for instance, you have like Coca-Cola Light, and then you just change that to Light, and that's that's not gonna fly. And also, like, HBO Max was kind of stupid, but it kind of worked in a sense because Max could kind of like add as a modifier to HBO. So you have like the maximum edition of HBO. But really what you're doing here is you're keeping the modifier, but discarding what is to be modified. It's just ridiculous. It's like, I don't know who is behind their marketing department, but they need to find someone else for it. Maybe it's like the same chick that's like doing the Bud Light stuff. That's doubling there. I don't know. But when you look at the craziness, and also what did they have? They had like HBO Go, HBO on the fly, HBO Slow. They had like so many different HBO things that did nothing but just dilute the brand. And here they're discarding the brand. So I don't know what kind of marketing personnel they have going there, but seriously, they need to find a different job. I mean, you would have thought that David Zaslav would know better, but I guess not.
Well, I wonder, is this a means to an end for a tax purpose? Maybe, we know that they
can't see how.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, neither can I. I'm just trying to give a benefit of the doubt in some way because it's the only thing that makes sense to me. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you remove all name brand recognition and just be like, Max?
You got to do some major mental gymnastics to come up for a reasoning why they would do this for sure.
It's so bizarre.
And the thing is, the name change doesn't happen until towards the end of May 23rd, I think, if I remember correctly. And so maybe the backlash will force their hand to not change it, and maybe it actually won't happen. But
I don't think they care that much. They're more than happy just to double down. I don't think they'll care that much, in fairness.
I agree with that. I mean, whenever you make a decision like this, there's going to be some kind of backlash. But very often they also know, like when they do like stupid changes, they know it's going to be temporary. You often see this in case of like fusions, where, for instance, you have like two banks that are fusing together, and the intention is always for the bigger bank or bigger institution to completely swallow up and absorb the smaller one, just for PR purposes, and the shareholders of the smaller one, they're not going to say that yet. So then typically you're going to have both names after each other, the name of the bigger company followed by the name of the smaller company. They're going to do some stuff with the logo, slightly different logo, to show that now this is now like a new shared company. You have the perfect example with like Warner Brothers Discovery, right? You had Warner Brothers, you had Discovery, the two became one, Warner Brothers Discovery. That's how it works. Not saying that that is going to be the case there, because in the case of Warner, I do believe that Discovery are just trying to fix it and then eventually sell it off later. They're not going to do it there. But if they were going to keep it, one of those two names would have to go in time. Then eventually there's going to be a different rebranding again, where you just go the entire way, because now everyone is used to idea. The shareholders have become one and the same. So now you can just go through with it and do complete the absorption. You've had the same thing happening with multiple banks, and I can even think of like two huge Norwegian corporations. You had like Statoil and Hydro, and for a while there they were merged and people couldn't accept it. Then there were Statoil, Hydro. And a couple of years later, it was like everyone was fine. Then you just skipped Hydro from the name, and you were back with just Statoil, the other one.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that was the same with Sony and Ericsson? It was Sony
exactly
Ericsson at a certain point.
Same thing.
And
Sony Ericsson
Sony again.
But this is kind of like the standard practice, isn't it? And then eventually, Ericsson disappeared, never to be seen again, completely engulfed into Sony, which was always the intention.
Yeah.
Also, I was just going to say, according to a report by The Verge, that Warner Brothers Discovery changed the service's name to cater to kids and families. While HBO is a popular brand, it generally associated with edgy and youth-oriented content, which means that some parents may not feel comfortable allowing their children to use the service. Changing the name to Max allows them to promote kid-friendly content through the platform. And not only that, they also changed the color scheme from the elegant purple that it used to be to a generic blue shade.
Well, that's a good thing.
Well, the color changes, but to rebrand an entire platform.
Yeah, that's insane.
When you could just simply do a marketing campaign just to say, oh, hey guys, we actually have loads of kids stuff, and we've set up these passwords so you can protect your family against it, just like Disney Plus,
exactly,
like Netflix.
You solved it right
do
there.
That.
Yeah,
you do that marketing campaign.
I mean, I could design such a campaign in 5 minutes. It would be super easy, barely an inconvenience to reference someone else who could do it quite easily. And you had the solution right there. You already have like adult edgy thing. Now you just need to show, we have adult edgy, but we have the family friendliest of family friendly. You can't trust Disney anymore. Well, this you can trust.
Yeah.
One marketing campaign would secure both of them.
You only need to run it for like 6 months.
That with HBO you have everything for the entire family. Edgy for you, safe for your kids. And a password wall to separate the two. Problem solved. Instead, they're going to discard the branding they already have, because now you are free to build your brand completely from scratch, because that's the position they find themselves in.
So bizarre.
Well, hey, it's very exciting. Merger of equals always ends up with one company eating the other one. It's just the way it works. And believe me, I've been through a couple, so I know. And you just end up in that situation. And I'll say it this way: every announcement that they made, with the exception of one, which we're going to talk about a little bit in a few more moments, has kind of left a lack of enthusiasm with investors and obviously people like us. I mean, they're even talking about a Big Bang Theory spinoff, the second one out of Big Bang.
That's a good idea, though. I can't fault them for that.
Yes, but it's not going. I mean, it's still Chuck Lorre. It's basically just an announcement that they're working on it. They don't have anything tangible, but it is something that would be exclusive to HBO. Well, in this case, into this Max platform. So, but look, I mean, you're abandoning a nameplate, and I mean, HBO is its own studio. I mean, it really is. And, Nate, you guys were talking about it. Anywhere that they've never existed, you still know what HBO is, because at the beginning of everything they've ever produced is the television thing that says HBO. So.
Yeah, it's a brand, it's just so, it's just lunacy. There must be a reason behind it, but I can't see it. Essentially,
Honestly,
cannot see the reason.
I don't think so. I mean, sometimes we are in shock and we just desperately try to think of, there has to be a reason behind this, and you just have an idiot that made a random decision that made no sense, that somehow was able to pass through the entire system. I mean, you'd be surprised how often this happens, even like in big corporations. I've been in quite a few huge corporations, and I've seen some decisions made that even the lowliest of accountant could see, this ain't gonna work. And there were so many warnings, and so I've seen projects that lost tens of millions, and everyone working on it could see that this isn't gonna work. Everyone apart from the decision makers that carried right on. And the best thing they did was cancel the whole thing when they had lost tens of millions as opposed to hundreds of millions.
Well, it will be interesting to see where this lies and where it ends up. So we've got a few super chats and super stickers, I think. So Dash Attack VTuber for $4.99 says, Disney doubling down, Warner continuing to fumble with its identity, and honestly think Paramount and Universal are the winners. My opinion.
Hard to argue.
Definitely Universal.
Universal is. Don't know about Paramount.
Well, in terms of streaming, they do have some upsides, because they have some strong brands that just are that are just in the needing of fixing. Like, for instance, with Star Trek, they're so close. They're so close right now. All they need to do is quit fucking up, and they can have a gold mine there. I mean, they have the Top Gun franchise, they have Mission Impossible, and best of all, they haven't invested too heavily in their streaming service. I mean,
they did. No, they did. How much did Halo cost them? That was ridiculous sums of money.
It was ridiculous, but but my point is, they haven't gone the all exclusive route. I mean, they still get an income from Netflix, and even from, I don't know, they get from Peacock, but they haven't done this exclusive bullcrap. So they have their own streaming service, but they haven't gone all in on it. I mean, they did for a while there, but then they walked back on it.
And the Tyler Sheridan universe is huge for them as well.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, and that's their big winner, because right now, absent Terry Trek, the one season of Trek that sounds tolerable, according to Nick here at the end. But
well, you're right.
They've destroyed a brand that they really could have ridden for a long time in Star Trek. It's very clear based on this third season of Picard. But I just, Paramount's a big winner here. Yes, Dash, you're right. I think Universal ultimately is a winner, because they also haven't invested very heavily in their streaming platform, other than to try to draw eyeballs over there, because they did a lot of the Olympic coverage on Peacock here in the States. I look at it and I'm like, okay, so some of these business decisions by these other two entities that have, maintained some level of stability throughout all of the upheaval that was around them, they really were the ones turning around on bad ideas. Paramount turned around on a bad idea with the streaming, as Andre said, and Comcast turned around on a few. Comcast Universal turned around on a few bad ideas early on, including the theatrical window. They negotiated a ridiculously small window, and then they went back on it nearly immediately after they realized it was not. It would cannibalize their earnings. And again, the walled garden concept doesn't work unless you are creating high quality original stuff. You have to be a premium cable channel in the States to really make that happen. Nobody can argue that the HBO Max streaming service was essentially must-see TV. It had a few shows on it, but that's the biggest problem with creating a walled garden, is you don't have access to other people's stuff that would keep your customers around longer. That's a problem.
Yeah, I mean that's why Netflix blew up the way it did.
Yeah.
Because they'd have access to everything. So we got another, I think it's sort of like a super chat as well as a member note from Al Humphreys. So a member for 1 year and sends in £5. And it's
Super sticker.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Super sticker. Pear lying on the side, raising his arm while saying, "How's it going?" So thank you so much for that, my dude. And I will say as well, just ladies and gents, we've got 380 odd people here. If you want to join in the conversation, you want to support the podcast, then you've got super chats as well as super stickers. Great way to do it. You can ask questions about anything, and we can sort of, touch on that as we get between topics and things. But it's also just a great way to support a show that you clearly enjoy. I will say as well, ladies and gents, everyone's channel is linked down below in the description box. So please do check them out and hit subscribe on their channel if you like their input, because obviously on their own channels, you'll hear more of that, and you can check them out over there. As well as the link to the second channel where all of these go and they sort of get chopped up into the best bits. And those videos have actually been doing pretty well at the moment, so I'm pretty happy with that. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers over on that channel as well. So if you're not a subscriber over on Mr. H Reviews Live Archives, check it out, hit subscribe.
Oh.
Would love to have you on over there as well. If you miss these, they actually go there afterwards in their entirety in a playlist, as well as the chopped up bits. So
I watched the chopped up bits every once in a while just to be like, wow, that was really brilliant what Andre said. So yeah, I love getting a kick out
just
of it.
Andre. Just Andre.
Nick too. I'm sorry. And
Fuck
Tom.
off. Get out of here. God. Outrageous. Outrageous. Nah, it's all good. It's all good. Now, anyway, so would appreciate that, guys. Mucho gracias. Si, senor. So, our next topic was going to be the Penguin. We're not going to touch on the Penguin just yet. I want to talk about something which you alluded to, which was this, which is all about the Harry Potter TV series. So as part of Max being rebranded, they released a bunch of teaser trailers, presumably to avoid what had happened, which was the stock sliding, because they thought, obviously, this part makes sense. Rebrand, it's not going to do very well, so they know the stock's going to slide. So along with the stock slide, along with the potential stock sliding, we're going to announce a whole bunch of things as well to go on this brand new service, Max. And it didn't. Well, we don't know if it did combat it, because it might have been even worse, right? The stock sliding might have been even worse. But one of them was the Harry Potter TV series, and they did reveal some interesting stuff. Now, there's nothing actually to show you in this teaser. Like, it's just a bit of music, and that's it, right? But they say your Hogwarts letter is here. Max has ordered the first ever Harry Potter scripted TV series. Good old Max. I can't get used to saying that. A faithful adaptation of the iconic books. Stream on Max. God, they're trying to make this
so it's basically going to be the
desperate.
movies in episodic form.
Yes and
remade.
No. So there was some interesting stuff that they revealed, right? So, talking about Max's plans for the franchise, HBO and Max content chairman and CEO Casey Bloys confirmed the show's budget will be in line with Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. So the latter's first season cost $125 million. So this is obviously going to be an over $1 billion commitment, which when you're looking at it in terms of inflation and stuff, this should be that anyway. If they were quoting numbers less than that, that's when you'd be really concerned. They actually haven't announced anything great in terms of the budget. It sounds big, but it's not. They've not announced anything that would make you go, oh, wow, this is really, really good. It's not. Like, account for inflation. Think about House of the Dragon. Think about the effects you're going to have to put in this. Think about the updated visual effects. It's not the same as the old movies. It's completely different. So, $1 billion commitment, in theory, it should actually be a little bit more, I think, personally. But he said this. He says, it will be that scale or higher. Whatever it takes to make a quality show.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, quality is subjective. But then Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav was also quizzed about whether this series will restrict the studio from expanding the Wizarding World franchise in other ways. And this is interesting. So he says, we're free to do anything we want. Some areas we need to do a JK. Other areas we have the full ability to go forward. This is a full deployment of Max of Harry Potter. For fuck's sake. I can't get over that name. We can still develop other properties. So, few things. Andre, what do you think about the $1 billion commitment? Because, again, What do you think? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Did they learn nothing from the ranks of power? That's my first thought. The second is that they have the involvement of Rowling, so that sorry, that is good. However, what I don't like about this, like they say, a reboot as that in the remake, they're going to start over from scratch. That I think is a really, really bad idea, and I hope that that's not what they're doing. If they were clever, what they would do is that they would do two things. One is that they would find a way to work past whatever SJW issues the individual actors have and continue the story with the adult actors. If they can't do that, then just go back in time and do Hogwarts Legacy. Come up with a story of background characters and everything. You have 1,000 people in class there, and Hogwarts Legacy is a massive, massive, massive video game. It's going to be a huge thing right there. Right there, you have something that is within the Harry Potter brand that is right now a separate sub-brand all of its own that they can capitalize on. Yeah, maybe you have to pay a small licensing fee to the video game company, but then you do that. And
they don't.
Hogwarts Legacy.
They don't need to pay any license because Warner Brothers are the only studio that still makes their own video games. So they don't have
there
to pay
you
any
go.
license.
Problem solved. I mean, better yet. I mean, do it that way. Instead, what I definitely would not do is remake those movies because they stand on their own. They are, for the most part, from what I understand, having never read the Harry Potter books, and I never will, but from what I understand, they are really solid adaptations. There is nothing that can be gained from redoing them. There have been absolutely no technological advancements, which means that you can do better special effects. There's no performance you can do better. It's not going to look any better. Those movies might as well have been made yesterday. There's nothing in them that dates them specifically to any kind of period. They are universal classics. They shouldn't be remade. So by all means, go back to that. Well, I see the culture disagrees, but I think you go to the side of it and explore side stories, expand the mythology, rather than remake the key story you already have. Cultured. What say you?
Well, first of all, I don't disagree with you. I think that would have been a better idea, a better plan. But the plan seems to be based on multiple reports out there from different sources that they are going. They're going to make this. They're going to take the existing novels and turn them into a 10-year series.
Which actually, just to sort of interrupt, which actually puts it more than a book per season. It's 7 books.
It's 7 books, yeah. And so Andre, unfortunately, you and I lose there because my idea, because they can fully go forward in some areas. That's what Casey Bloys said. Those areas would be the Hogwarts Legacy, as you suggested, going beforehand, getting characters you have background on, right? Because there are characters we heard about, and developing a series along those lines, and with other adventures. A young Albus Dumbledore, a younger version of McGonagall, a younger version of these teachers, right? And their trials and tribulations, their first few years, bringing up another group of rowdy kids, just like Harry Potter and his crew, right? And it could be kind of a dual purpose story. You'd have an adult narrative going on over here and a young person narrative over here. That's what I would do, Andre. So I'm with you there, but that's not what we're getting by the reports we have. We're getting a decade-long retelling of the 7 books. That's what we're getting.
Nick, what do you think about this, dude? Are you a secret Potterhead?
I hate Harry Potter. I don't watch it. I'm not a fan at all. F Harry Potter. F it and its stupid ass. But I do like J.K. Rowling, standing up for real women instead of fake women, which is why people are trying to cancel her. So props to her. And I almost went out and I didn't, but I thought about going out and buying Hogwarts Legacy just because all the weirdos out there trying to cancel that game just over her comments that I supported. But yeah, I know there's both my sisters are huge Harry Potter fans. This is probably going to be something they're going to probably maybe be into, but my only issue is like what Culture was just talking about, is why just retell the books that are already out there that people have already read. The movies have already been done. People can go back and watch them all the time. You know,
And they do. And they do.
come up with something new. Like how did people learn these powers? Go back, do an origin story. You know, how did this school form in the first place? All that sort of stuff from the very beginning. You know, which could be an interesting story with all new characters and all that. And she's involved in it, and you know, she's the creator of it. So I mean, that's a plus. But I don't think going this route, retelling these books, is going to be something that people are just going to overwhelmingly flock to.
Well, think about the prop catalog that they have, right? You can repurpose Hogwarts Castle almost entirely, right?
Yeah.
There are some pieces that are, you know, on loan to New York City, and obviously some pieces that were given to the Wizarding World in Florida, right? But they're going to have to stay in line with that, because that's physical location that represents the film that was personally seen to by J.K. Rowling herself. So the location in Florida would not exist in any other way than what she wanted it, which is why she was never going to do a deal with Disney. And so, you know, Warner Brothers has the film control. They have to live within both areas. But I feel like this is an opportunity for Warner to do something special. I'm afraid they may not. So like I said, I share the same trepidation as Andre does. I just, you know, for that very reason, the adaptations of the books were exemplary, even though a bit long and making the last one two films.
Well, I think I never underestimate the amount of creative control over the rights, you know, as a property that J.K. Rowling has. So it may be that they're not allowed to go a certain remit around stuff. You know, it may be that she just said no, point blank, no. Because you are right. Like, it makes sense to explore the universe. They've proved that anyway of Hogwarts Legacy. The universe itself is ripe for mining. People want to, you know, play in the universe, literally, figuratively. They want to be immersed in the universe itself. It's not necessarily actually just Harry Potter. It's the Hogwarts universe that people really, really enjoy. Hogwarts Legacy has absolutely proven that. I mean, it made just bucket loads of cash. So, yeah, I mean, thinking about that kind of, you know, logic and stuff like that, I can't really see why. Name brand, I guess, but they've proven to themselves Hogwarts as a name brand alone. So it is interesting, but I would imagine it's all to do with J.K. Rowling and her creative control over it all. That would be my gut instinct on that. That they're not allowed to do a certain. They're just not allowed, and she isn't allowing it. That's all I can presume it being, because outside of everything else, there's no logical reason why you wouldn't.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm just saying what's been reported from multiple reputable sources has been that this is going to be 10 years and 7 books. And I just don't.
Yeah.
There's no win.
Yeah, that is, I think that's confirmed. It will be 10 years. You know, it's a decade worth, basically. So it is interesting. Yeah, it is interesting. I will say as well, so on Andre's topic of, you know, working out with the original cast and things, they've got so much money you can't buy them now because they did so well, you know, and because they stand on their moral compass, their high ground for this stuff, they literally can't be bought because they have so much cash as well. They're the worst type of SJW because they have all the money in the world whilst also promoting, you know, awful values that you can't buy for them to break. Nobody could pay them off, but they've got so much bloody money you can't. So I don't think they'd ever. I think that was always going to be a losing battle, especially with what's her face, Emma Watson.
Watson, yeah, the Hermione Granger, who
Yeah.
does not look the greatest right now.
No, I know the photo you're referring to. I think is genuinely just a horrendous photo.
Oh, I think
but,
it was. Well, I think it was a very bad angle. That's what I think.
Oh yeah, no, true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about her, so I'm not going to defend
Well,
it. But
right,
the point is,
well,
I think they've got all the money in the world. So
I was just going to say, because she's not
can't
Brie
buy 'em.
Larson. That's why you don't know very much about her. Now, Brie
Yeah.
Larson on it.
I don't know very much about Brie Larson. I don't know anything. Anyway, we got some super chats. We'll shuffle on. So again, if you want to join in the conversation, you want to support the podcast, please do. Super chats are a good way to go. Super stickers as well. Sorry, I had to stand up. You had to see my chinos, but I had to turn a light on because there was a weird glare coming from here, and I've still got a bit of a glare. So sorry, I tried to correct it, guys, but light control in this room's a bit. If I move back, like it's just like the sun beaming off my face. There's not even a sun there. I don't know what's going on. Pissing me off. Anyway.
Your overhead lights, are they adjustable to where you can change the color and the?
No, I mean it's literally just this. So if I close this, but then all the color will change, and then I've got another light here I can turn on. I can control. Oh, the lights are because when I set up this office, I set it up as a live set. So the lights above are actually open amber bulbs. So they just displace light everywhere. So they're not projected. So it just warms the room. And then I have like frontal lights. So secondary light, offshoot light, front light here. And then it normally, but then I've got a big light here because the monitor.
Yeah.
So it normally puts it together. But obviously it's been a nice day. So I've had the curtains open and then that just go. Anyway, whatever. Talking enough nonsense. Gary, £5 says, I want one company to take indie horror games and turn them into movies like Killer Frequency, Layers of Fear, Outlast, and The Forest. That's kind of what Blumhouse has been doing, isn't it? That's what they sort of trying to do anyway. The Five Nights at Freddy's, although Five Nights at Freddy's, I think, has now been slated to be a streaming-only product, if I remember rightly, which is, a shame. I'm pretty certain, don't quote me on it, Culture, Google, go.
Gotcha.
It's Five Nights at Freddy's, a streaming-only thing. I'm pretty certain it is. I read it. I didn't do a video on it, but I'm pretty certain it is. Which, if so, that sucks, because I think that would have made fucking loads of money in the theatre. But yeah, no, you're right. There is no streaming platform just for this kind of horror stuff. I remember Netflix used to be pretty decent for horror every now and then. But there isn't one streaming platform that you go, that's my go-to for horror. It'd be good if there was. It would actually be good. Oh, Shudder, maybe. Is Shudder one?
The film will be released. The film will be released on October 27th worldwide in both theaters and on the streaming service Peacock, same day.
There you go. Yeah, so that's what I read. Day and date release streaming. What are you doing?
Why would anybody do that?
That's dumb.
Well, they did it with Halloween as well, and they knew it was a bomb. They knew it was a bomb.
So does this mean that they made Five Nights at Freddy's a bomb?
Well, it means they got no faith in it.
Oh man,
I know. Well, let's talk about that briefly. What do we think?
That's terrible.
Well, they did it with Halloween. Remember the last two Halloween films, day and date release. It made sense. Made sense for the second one. Didn't make sense for it made sense for the third one. When you watch the film, you're like, that's why. Yeah.
But no,
that's why they released it.
Why would you do this? This thing could be huge if you did it right. This is a franchise. It's fun. And I love the idea of the animatronics coming to life. I mean, we all grew up going to pizza places or entertainment parks that had, audio animatronic figures and, some more robotics and such. And I'm like,
pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Showbiz Pizza or Chuck E. Cheese
you've only got to see how good Willy's Wonderland did.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage. That movie fucking rocked, man. I mean, that was like a like a direct to streaming kind of direct to video platform kind of thing. But that was cheap anyway. This isn't like this is a Blumhouse production. It should be released in theaters. Like I'm not saying there's prestige behind that name, but you could swing it so you could release it in theaters, for goodness sake.
Yeah, maybe if they got it, maybe if they'd repartnered with Atomic Monster before that, maybe this would have been better. But that just makes me worried about its quality. If the very moment they go day and date, I go, oh, I don't know, Andre.
There's always a reason. No.
If it bombs, I'm going to be sad. But Andre, are you familiar with Five Nights at Freddy?
Not in the slightest.
Okay.
It's a title I have heard, but I have never seen it. I honestly have no idea what it is.
It's a fun little jump scare video game plot thing that they've turned into a film, and it looks really. The idea was good. It looked good.
I wish it the best of luck.
Yeah, everything coming out about it looked okay at the very least. Looked true to the game. Put it that way. So shame. Shuffling on, we've got $2 super chat from Pilgram Media. It says, if they remake them for modern audiences, no. Yeah, true, but that's one of the good things about J.K. Rowling being involved is
she won't allow it.
That's unlikely to happen. That's the saving grace there. That is unlikely to happen as a result of that, which is obviously very, very good. Very, very good. Tom working for $10. So again, thank you so much for all of the contributions, the comments, the questions. It really does help out. Tom working for $10 says, imagine people getting bent over actual socio-cultural opinions of C.S. Lewis, Mark Twain, Tolkien, art and artists. You need to have a separation. Rowling can't be corrected. Well, she got all the, I mean, she can't be corrected anyway, because nothing she said is factually inaccurate. And it was just merely people losing their minds, stumping their feet. But the thing is, as well, she's got all the money in the world, so you can't cancel it. She doesn't care, and that's she's uncancelable, which I quite like. You know, I like that. I like that when actors or people high up like this take a stance that is against the narrative, and they just go, "Yeah, I don't fucking care. Fuck off." Like, I've got all the money in the world. I literally couldn't care less. You know, we had it from Woody Harrelson recently come out and saying, yeah, no, mask mandates and COVID vaccine mandates, that's some fascist shit. Fuck off, basically. So this is some elitist two-tier system. I hate it. I'm not about that. And that's, Woody Harrelson, you can't cancel him. And he come out and said that. He's like, no, this is ridiculous. Go away. Absolutely go away. So I really do like it when people, who have just reached a position and a sort of a level of prominence, they just go, no.
Yeah, James Woods is another one that does that a lot, who speaks out and is like, "F the cancel mob."
We're getting more voices. I mean, we are actually getting a new television media studio coming together under country singer that's involved in Sheridan's Yellowstone projects.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's there. He's partnering with Skydance Media to create down home entertainment. So you're starting to see. I mean, he's like, no traditional values. All this other stuff. He at some point you have so much money, it's FU money, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, I'm good. I'm coming to tell you what I think. It's a shame. It's a shame it takes that for people to speak their mind. So,
well, I mean, it makes sense. I can see why, because if you don't have a platform, or it's scary being on YouTube, for instance. So this is why when I do these kind of streams and stuff, the super chats do genuinely help out, because you can just wake up one day and your whole YouTube channel's gone.
Yeah,
it happened to us.
Gone. Yeah, there you go.
Thank God we got it back, but
no rhyme, no reason, just gone.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I just wish more people would do it. You do have them, but they're few and far between right now. And although the list is growing, let's just be fair. People they're pretty much hitting the enough button, right?
Yeah, this is true. This is very, very true. Well, even so, I don't know if anyone else listened to this or saw it. The BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation,
I watched it.
Did an interview with Elon Musk.
I watched it,
and he tore them apart. He took them to task on COVID misinformation, vaccine misinformation, but this is what I mean. Like, you can't cancel him, and that was streamed to. It was like 650,000 people live.
I only saw
millions and millions of people. Mate, you've got to listen to the whole thing. The whole thing's great.
So he takes them down on their disinformation.
Yeah,
this is what frustrates me.
Yeah, the whole thing's on YouTube.
Yeah. Obviously, so I'm not going to say anything here that's going to affect your channel. I'm just going to say that all of the stuff that we were told was this is fact and you are not to disagree with it, that was disinformation and outright lies. All of it. Every last bit.
Yeah.
The worst thing.
Yeah.
The worst thing to happen to us in this country was the repeal of the act that required the government to always tell the truth, to not lie to people, to not push propaganda on.
I didn't know they did that.
Citizens.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we can't go too into that.
No,
We'll shuffle on now to another super chat. Again, thank you so much, everyone. Mecha J for $5 says, my only worry for the Harry Potter reboot is that they do some race swapping like they did with Hermione in that god-awful Cursed Child play. I've never seen the play, so I didn't even know they did that. Did they do that? That's shocking.
Well,
obviously, I mean, apparently they did.
I believe,
bizarre.
I believe Mecha J. I had no interest in that.
That's so bizarre.
To this day, I have zero interest in that.
I'd be shocked if they didn't.
Yeah.
True.
No,
Tom working for $2.
I'll be shocked if they don't do any race and gender bending.
But I wonder, but they can't. That's only under J.K. Rowling's watch, right? Like she has to allow that, surely.
It would it would put off part of the audience they're trying to appeal to, the fans of the longtime fans of the franchise, right? That would like to see all the books adopted in full, because that's really the only reason you go back and revisit the material, is there was stuff left out of the adaptations. But you'd be casting aside a lot of people, and especially in the portrayals that were invented, to go along with the current thing along the way. You're going to have a lot of people that aren't going to want to see the changes in those characters. So this is it's very dangerous what they're doing. They have to skate a very thin line, even if it's new actors and actresses. Anyway, just my opinion.
No, you're completely right. Completely right. It'll be interesting to see if they do, but yeah, I mean, people saying they'd be surprised. I agree. I think the only saving grace is J.K. Rowling. Tom working for $2 says, whatever on Five Nights, Nicolas Cage owned that. He did. Willy's Wonderland was great. Very funny, brutal, gory, brilliant. Loved it. Good fun. Like what a movie like that should have been. Yeah, really, really good. Gary for £10 says, Killer Frequency is about a radio station in a small town, and he gets calls from people saying a killer is after them, and he has to use maps and files to give them advice, and if they fail, he hears them die.
Oh boy!
I remember seeing a trailer on that.
Is that a movie then? Is it?
Uh-huh.
That sounds kind of cool, to be honest.
I believe it's so. I believe it's a movie.
Did you do a super chat?
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt the conversation.
Oh, all right then. Well, we got a super chat. Speaking of jump scare games, did you play Alien Isolation? And if so, did you try it in VR? It's a must play. If not, so I've done 2 playthroughs of it.
Mm-hmm.
So one on my old setup, and then another one on this setup, which is a much better. I mean, it's a gaming rig, editing rig. I've never tried it in VR. I've heard VR is insane.
Yeah, VR, especially playing at night if you're home alone by yourself. Oh my god, dude! It freaks you out.
I don't know if my heart could handle that, or like genuinely, I don't know if my heart would handle it.
If you have the spatial headphones to go along with it.
Yeah, I did. The 3D.
Oh man, VR, man, it's a whole other level with some of these games. Of course, take a break regularly from that because you are really messing up your eyeballs. But
yeah.
God damn. Yeah, I like revisiting that game. It's got a lot of replay value.
Definitely.
But because of how the Alien was coded, like there's so much replay value in that. Like that is a seriously hard game. It's not an easy game. Brutal. Andre, have you ever played Alien Isolation? No.
I thought I was muted. I thought I was muted. No, it's not on the Sega Mega Drive. I've played Alien 3. That was pretty awesome.
God. Well, this is a bit of a step up in quality as well as narrative. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I know, but all that means. It's the type of game where the most exciting thing is when I run into a corner, will I be able to get out of it?
No.
So yeah,
Probably
no,
not.
I don't have that kind of profit in games, because that kind of game, what usually happens, I find myself a corner and I can't get out.
Yeah, yeah.
You
It's
gotta sneak
brutal.
around a lot of sneaking, building
Can't really shoot
stuff.
anything. Can't kill
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
alien. Just
yeah,
gotta
I
run
can't
away.
do that when I can't move in the 3D environment.
Yeah, you we gotta try and get you to play it one day and just video it. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
That would make my day. Just
Yeah,
be
that
you
would be
messing
hilarious.
around.
Yeah, I was like trying to play like one of the Sonic games in 3D, right? It's supposed to be like fast. I was like, I can't get out of this freaking corner.
God damn.
So yeah.
Oh dear, oh dear. Gary's chimed in again for £2. Says Killer Frequency is a game. Second one is coming soon.
Yeah, actually in
Oh.
June. Yeah, you'll be able to play the follow-up. It's called Killer Frequency Hitting the Airways. So you'll be able to get it June 1st. It's going to be
I'll
looks like
check that out.
it'll be on console for PS4 and 5. I think you can get the previous game on Steam already. So yeah, it's out there in the world. So
yeah, I'll have to check that out. So we're going to move off on to our next topic now, which is another thing Max, formerly HBO Max, announced or showed anyway. So the Penguin. Now, I can't show any footage because the video that I did yesterday, they did copyright claim. So can't show you any footage, but have we all seen this? Have we all seen the trailer?
Yes, I watched it right before the show. I didn't even know that this was even out till I jumped in here and you guys told me about it.
Yeah, so this is it's a sequel to the Batman. It takes up, pretty much soon after the film, couple of weeks, if not pretty much immediately. It's all about the power vacuum and Penguin looking to take control of Gotham City as a mob boss, the kingpin of Gotham City, as he says, I think, towards the end of the trailer. Andre, have you seen this trailer or not?
I have seen it, yeah.
So what do we all think of it? Culture, what do you think of this trailer?
I think it looks great. To be fair, I watching it, I think it's incredibly cinematic. And again, I'm just amazed at Farrell's performance. I just can't. The makeup effects are sound. I mean, just it doesn't look bad at all. The portrayal. I mean, this is. I think we mentioned it backstage, but this is very Godfather-esque. It is very. It's going to be gritty as anything, and I think that's something that's been missing for a while, since possibly Boardwalk Empire or something like that. But I'm pretty stoked to see this, to be fair. So
yeah, Nick, what did you think?
I thought the trailer looked killer. I'm definitely going to be watching this show. I really liked the Batman more than I thought I would. I had some issues with the third act, but overall, I liked the movie. I liked the way the style and the way the movie was shot appealed to me. And this trailer right here looks like it's just going to be a fun mob gangster movie, with the Penguin. But they're making it modern. It's not going to be, over comic booky, or too silly. He's not running around going, Batman, I'm gonna get you, in a weird voice or anything. This feels very down to earth, very serious tones. I like it. I can't wait till it comes out and I can check it out.
Cool, good. And Andre, what did you think of the trailer?
No, I think this in isolation looks really good. It absolutely does. I'm not denying that at all. I'm not a fan of the universe that it's part of, but this in isolation looks good.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me also say that Andre and I agree on the film. It was terrible.
I hate that film so fucking
Much. Me and Nick agree, because I really like the film. I don't care.
Yeah.
I really like the film. The cinematography of all of this.
Yeah.
This looks
all
like
this is great. I've not one complaint about this trailer in isolation. This in isolation is fantastic. The universe it's part of that left a really sour taste in my mouth.
I love it. Honestly, I love it. I think I'm all for this. I think the trailer's great. The production values are all there. It looks just like a series version of the Batman.
Yeah. Is the Batman going to be in this?
We've heard rumors that he can. Well, we've had confirmation that he can be in it, not that he will be in it, because there was some rumors floating around on Twitter that James Gunn debunked because people were like, "Oh yeah, I know from my sources that Robert Pattinson cannot be in it due to a rights deal," and James was like, "That's not true." So he can be in it, and he might be in it. It would make sense if he is. I love the brutality. Look at that prosthetic. You just wouldn't know that was Colin Farrell. You just wouldn't. Look at it.
No way.
Yeah, no,
It's just insane.
His voice,
Absolutely
his
insane.
accent, everything he does in this performance is amazing.
He's actually doing it better here than what Tom Cruise did in Tropic Thunder, with the studio head character that Tom Cruise played in Tropic Thunder. You could tell that was Rex Grossman. You could tell that was Tom Cruise with the voice and the way that they kind of put the fat suit and stuff. You could still kind of tell. There's no way I could tell that this is Colin Farrell at all. The voice, the look, everything.
And it didn't win like best prosthetics or anything like that for Oscars. I mean, this is truly amazing work. The makeup effects are absolutely staggeringly great. But I love the brutality. I love, at the start of the trailer, he's like, guys like us, it's just, it's the very sort of hard hitting adult, but not dark and gritty for dark and gritty sake with a comic, a comic book undertone. This is a comic book universe in a dark and gritty retelling. Does that make sense? I'm trying to differentiate it. So like I would say Zack Snyder's universe was a comic book dark and gritty universe. This is a dark and gritty universe, just taking comic book elements and
yeah.
Do you see what I mean? I'm trying to differentiate. I'm not wording it completely. I'm on a heavy diet, guys. Right? I'm pretty fucked. So like,
it's the reverse of what it normally is.
Exactly. There's no comic book elements in it aside from the characters and kind of what they do. I guess there's no cartoonish elements. There you go. That's the sort of better. The better explanation. I love it. I think this looks great, and I love just how brutal he is. He just gets the gun out, bang, 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 and just starts chuckling to himself at the end. You're like, fucking hell. Like this guy is someone not to mess with, and this is the problem, isn't it? Is like the character of Penguin is actually a bit of a badass. Like if you've played the games, you've read the comics, he is a badass, but he's always played up as a bit of a joke in the movies. So it's nice to see him actually be a badass, actually see how he rose to power. So I'm all for this. I'm all for this. And again, they're like the Penguin in production teaser. It's like that was just to try.
I can't even believe it also shows me how far along they are in production.
Well, they've been releasing. There was some leaked images. I did some videos of because he's wearing like a purple suit. He's got his Maserati still. Maseratis are not great cars. They have Ferrari engines, but bad electrical fires.
That reminds me of something called a Jaguar, who has similar issues.
Yeah.
Or wiring harnesses. Yeah.
Range Rovers are another one that gets voted.
You know why?
Unreliable SUV on the market.
It is the most unreliable.
They are. We know why. They were owned by Mercedes for a while. And Mercedes at one point put a biodegradable electrical harness in their cars.
Oh my God!
Why the fuck would you do that? Why would you do that?
Yeah, in a place that has huge amounts of moisture all the time, that's really freaking stupid.
No, they did it as a serviceable item. So like it degraded, so you would replace it. Anyway, I don't want to get too into that. It's super dumb. Super dumb. But I love this. I think the Penguin trailer looks great. I'm all for this. And you know what? I do think, I think this is the way to go. This universe, I think on the small screen works really, really well. I think we'll have. I mean, I like the Batman. I like it a lot, but the money didn't bear it out. They obviously wanted a bit more for it. So it'll be interesting to see what they do moving forwards with that. With the sequel, and also what they do with the Arkham Asylum spin-off that was going to be the Gotham PD, but turned into this sort of Arkham Asylum series, because that's another one. And I tell you what, if it's got the same tone and vibe as this, I'm all in it. I think this would be great. Very exciting stuff. These are the shows. This, House of the Dragon, not Game of Thrones anymore, but House of the Dragon. You know, what used to be like Boardwalk Empire, all this kind of stuff. They're real. This is the reason why you subscribe to a high-tiered streaming platform.
The Continental, which is coming out.
Yeah.
I was going to do a video on that, but can't because Peacock they love to claim as well. So
yeah, they do.
Unfortunate.
I see potential problems here, and maybe I don't know if Andre agrees on this, and maybe the rest of you. But you're establishing two different DC universes with this show, because this is wildly.
Now potentially 3 or 4, because this is
that's
just the
my issue
Elseworlds
right there.
But you've got more on top of it because you've got the Joker Elseworlds, you've got the other Elseworlds, so on and so forth. So
the discussion was that the Joker Elseworld could fit into this version of this Elseworld, possibly, but I don't know. I think
no confirmation. In
no.
fact, the only confirmation we had was that they wouldn't be doing it, and they would absolutely keep it separate.
Okay, let me phrase it a different way. There's no guarantee that this second film is going to be received well. In fact, my guess is it probably won't be. But I think, and again, Andre, I'm very curious. Do you think that this causes massive issues at HBO? Because if this is really popular, and yet the Batman as a film wasn't, and now, I mean,
well, so I wouldn't go so far as to say that Batman as a film wasn't popular, right? It just didn't generate. I mean, it did like $750-800 million worldwide. So it was popular, but it wasn't the money that they wanted. And we know that these companies want $1 billion for each film. Yeah. So it was popular. It was popular, but it wasn't what they expected. And so we got to differentiate that.
It was the worst kind of result they possibly could have gotten. Because when you just look at it as a data point, they couldn't have gotten a worse data point. Because it's a data point that shows that, you can kind of like reboot Batman, and it might work, but then again, it might not. And the audience may be receptive to a different direction, but then again, they're not too receptive to this one. It's a data point that gives no clear answers. And I do see Culture's point here, because now you're kind of like, you have like one universe that they're kind of discarding after The Flash, and then James Gunn will be starting his own separate universe. But the Matt Reeves thing is his own separate thing from that. So they're still going to have at least 2 separate ongoing cinematic universes, plus whatever Elseworld stuff they have with the Joker Part 2, with Constantine Part 2, and whatever else they do. So they're going to have multiple things going. And the Elseworlds thing, that's kind of fine. People can get that. But then you have 2 ongoing competing DC universes. And that was never the intention. What they were considering at a point there was like, okay, if this Matt Reeves Batverse really works out, if this crosses $1 billion, we're just going to drop all this Snyderverse stuff here, and this is going to be the new main thing. But it didn't. Instead, they're carrying on with both. That's brand confusion right there. That's my issue. This is kind of like why I'm saying I like how the Penguin looks, don't like the universe that it's part of. This goes right back to the problem that Warner seems to be having. Cue the earlier discussion with like the brand name, where they have like a brand that's really good, and they're discarding it for something that has to be built up from scratch. Same thing here. I mean, here you're in a position where you have like 2 potential DC brands, both of which can be really good on their own. But if they coexist, they're going to cannibalize off each other, confuse the audience, and both will prevent the other from being all it can be.
Yeah.
That's my issue with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of that was because of James Gunn sort of coming in as well. So he sort of, they sort of got him to take over the reins. They obviously sort of changed direction as well to a certain degree.
Yeah, but Matt Reeves had already gotten the green light there from the previous administration that were a bunch of numbnuts.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. So they obviously, it's all just fractured, isn't it? At the end of the day.
It's all
just
fractured.
Fractured.
And the Matt Reeves verse here is just continuing the fracturing.
Yeah, well, I can hear myself coming through someone, just as an FYI.
I'm sorry.
But point is, I don't care. I'm still excited for it. So moving on.
Oh, I'm excited for
Nick, I'm sure Nick, you'll back me up. You're excited for a sequel.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be watching it.
Right, we got some super chats just to get to real quick before we move on to our next topic, which is one of our main ones actually in the title. So ActionCon for $2 says, Andre, ever hear of a game called Pac-Man? Well, Andre,
yes,
have you ever heard
obviously.
of
Pac-Man?
Yeah. Hassa Digger Jack Dorsey for £5 says, so years back, Rowling tweeted that she never said Hermione wasn't black. After fan backlash, she ensured that a black lady played her in the play. Is that actually what happened? God damn, what a spineless dweeb. Is that actually what happened? Anyone know? Because if so,
I don't know.
I don't follow
levels
anything
of
Harry Potter.
I was so disengaged from that, I didn't care.
Yeah. Olaf Van S for €2, who's also mod on the channel, so thank you so much. Says, Andre, or as ActionCom asked, ever tried Pong?
No of it, never tried it. The closest thing is that I had like a Game & Watch with like Snoopy tennis. That was like fairly close to Pong because you moved like your Snoopy up and down the like branches of the tree to like hit the tennis ball. So that was kind of like Pong-like in a sense. So yeah, I've tried like a more snatched up Pong clone, but that's as close as it gets.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I do know my video game history. I just can't get out of corners in modern 3D games.
And then a follow-up one for £2 says, I'm a bad typer, Soz. It's all good. Got your question through anyway. Tom working for $5 says, my assumption for the Penguin, given the prosthetics, they'd have flashbacks. Yeah, I don't know if there's rumors of any flashbacks, to be fair. I hope they don't.
What would they flash back to, though? I mean, if it's following him.
Yeah, I mean, are they going to flash back to the fact that
maybe his
Batman is knocked on his ass because of all the bullets his armor's taking?
No, no. A flashback of the Penguin and his life.
Oh, okay.
Come on now. But I don't know. I don't know whether there'd be anything. I hope they don't. I don't want a series where they do flashbacks. This is the origin of the Penguin. I don't need to see more. In my view, I'm happy with seeing where he came from in the Batman to this and his progression. I'd be very happy with that. That's enough for me. I can see enough there. That'd be good. But I don't know what you guys would think. Would you want to see more of him? His backstory, or
I wouldn't want to see a backstory. I'd once the series is over, if it's good, I would just want to see him continue it and just build upon it.
Yeah. I think they did a good job of establishing him in the film, and now this is sort of trying to get a grip on Gotham moving forwards. I think
I'm looking forward to it. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. It's just the Batman film is ridiculous.
A riot. This one's for you, Nick, Echo Base Network. You reviewed Mando, episode 23, with a guest. She recommended reading the Thrawn trilogy before Disney touches it. So paperback or audiobook? Well, who was the guest? What were they recommending? Answer le question.
So I had Nikki on who did a live action review with me.
Did you?
Yeah. So Coach was at work, and so she came on and did the live reaction for me because he had already posted his review. So we reacted to it live and then talked about it at the end. And two things: if you like reading and you enjoy reading books, definitely just get the paperback. If you travel a lot and are driving a lot, get the audiobook. Or if you do stuff around the house and want to listen while you're doing stuff around the house, get the audiobook. But let me also suggest there's a channel out there called Darth Angelus, all one word, DarthAngelus. We've had him on the show before, and he is animating every single chapter of Heir to the Empire. He's got a playlist where you can watch from the very beginning, chapter 1, all the way up through. He's on chapter 21 right now. I can't remember how many chapters are in the book, but that's Darth Angelus's channel, and he animates it, CGI, does it all on his own. Wow. He's been working on it for 3 years. Definitely support him. I think he's over in the UK where you're at, Nate. But he does a good job. I'd say it's like PS2, PS3 type CGI animation graphics.
Yeah, I mean, for someone doing it himself, that's still fantastic anyway.
Yeah. So if you want to watch it on TV, just pull up the YouTube app, go to his channel, go to that playlist, and you can actually watch it like a movie.
Excellent.
And also, if you want some more background information on the Thrawn trilogy and all the related books, check out the Midnight's Edge Star Interviews playlist, because there we have an interview with Timothy Zahn, the author of those books and creator of Thrawn. Nick even helped with research for the questions.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, so check that out, guys. Tom working for $2 says prosthetics. Why bury Colin Farrell under that? Well, to make him look like the Penguin, I guess.
Because it's badass.
It's a good flex. Now, thank you so much for all of the. I can still hear myself. Someone, it's very annoying.
Okay, let me.
Whoever it is, I can still hear myself. Now I can't. It's you, culture. Some bloody headphones in. Anyway, yeah. Well, I don't know what would you want me to tell you? Run it through there. It's coming through somewhere. So. Right, anyway, so ladies and gents, thank you so much for all the super chats. It goes a long way, genuinely helps out. And I've got to say again, please do hit the thumbs up button. Everyone's channels are linked down below in the description box, so head on over there. You've just had some great recommendations to check out the channels as well, so check them out. But also, please do subscribe to Missed H Reviews Live Archives. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers, so if you're not subscribed over there, please do. These streams go there, and then all the best bits of the streams get chopped up as well. So, now, Kang. Jonathan Majors. Now, this was interesting because I dropped on your stream yesterday, Andre, about this. And then this news dropped on official websites, mainstream media, shortly after that. So, what's the deal here? Do you want to fill us in, talk about this? What's the situation?
Yeah, certainly.
Seemingly it was Tom that had the scoop, and then everyone else got it at this around roughly the same time. Fill us in. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay, because here, what Joe Blow has right here is Marvel weighing options amid Jonathan Majors' accusations. This is something that they published 2 days ago. And if anything, Joe Blow is late to the party, because this news that there were conversations taking place between Marvel and Majors' representatives. This dates back to a week ago. This was the middle of last week that this first started making the rounds. So I can only imagine that Joe Blow has been a bit slow on the uptake here, or slow with getting their write-up done, more likely, because this by now is old news. What is new news? And this is something that actually dates back to this Tuesday. Just after Tom was finished with your stream then, is when he got messages from one of his sources that this scoop that they're referring to right here, that conversations have taken place. Yeah, they had taken place. And the result of that, according to this one source, was that Jonathan Majors was out of the MCU. Marvel had decided to carry on without him. Exactly what they're doing, we don't know, but apparently they're no longer doing it with Jonathan Majors. Now, this is just one source, so we do not know if this is accurate, but we instantly reached out to another source, which is also in the know here. And this source was of the same understanding that this was very, very recent, as of the last hours, minutes, but that Jonathan Majors was no longer involved. So this is something that would have happened either Monday or Tuesday, is when they would have made that decision to such a level where it would have spread to other sources. Again, we do not know that this is accurate. This is so fresh that if this is accurate, it's going to take a little bit of a while for it spreads to other sources, and it kind of like spreads across the board. And officially, like the entertainment media complex, they've invested so much into propping up this guy. You'll notice that they stopped with that instantly. He went from being the next big thing that we all must basically fall down and worship the footprints of, until he suddenly disappeared. And here's Tom to share more details about it himself.
Got the man himself. So Tom,
I have
do you
no
want to
idea
chime
what's
in
going
this?
on. I just got here.
I was just
my
giving,
time was off. I'm like, he's been not live for an hour. I thought it didn't start till like a half hour from now. But okay, I'm here.
Yeah,
So-
no, I was
Well,
basically just
your scoop.
recounting how the scoop that Jonathan Majors is out of the MCU came to you, and how if this is accurate, big if, I mean, this is still not verified, it's going to be a while before the entertainment media complex starts talking about it, because they invested so much in it. So, yeah, I don't think we'll be getting a final confirmation whether or not it's accurate for some while yet. But to me, this report that he's no longer involved with the MCU does pass the smell test. And just that we are still getting circulations of the previous report, the one that Joe Blow picked up 2 days ago, that discussions are taking place between him and his management, that only lends credibility to the report from Tom sources.
Oh, I didn't even hear that.
Yeah. So this is now, this started doing the rounds yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So do you want to just let us know everything? Bring us up to speed on what you know. We sort of had it obviously from Andre, but just from the sort of horse's mouth, as it were.
It really is so simple. That's why we didn't do a video and we just did a drop on the live archive Tuesday night, because I'd heard from just somebody had said to me that, yeah, I heard that Majors is out. Didn't specify if they were going to recast or what, but I mean, I just assumed that's what would be the case, considering how much Kang is set up in this universe now. You can't really just write your way out of it. But that to me, and then I checked with somebody else who said, yeah, I'd heard the same thing. And again, I don't want to say this individual's name until they do their own report on it.
Well, Jeff Snyder here, apparently on the Hot Mic podcast as well, said that.
So that's another person. There you go.
They're all saying that the actors' representatives have had meetings, but there's no discussion, there's no decision been made. So they seem to.
But this story is a week old, because Joe Blow write-ups is new, but Jeff Snyder's report on this, and Jeff Snyder, however unlikable he may be, and however gratifying it may have been when Uwe Boll beat the shit out of him in the boxing ring, he is connected. But this scoop from him, that was a week ago. So at this time, a week ago, no decision had been made. But I wouldn't be surprised if even he were to come with like an update to that in the near future here.
Yeah. Well, and that was what I was at least positing, was that we won't hear anything until we hear he's been recast or something along those lines. And otherwise, it just makes sense to me at this point, probably because they're probably gearing up to start shooting one of the bigger projects. So they probably had to make a decision. Because as far as I know, I think he's done and shot all his stuff for Loki season 2. But beyond that, I don't know.
Yeah, no, he's completely done with all of that. They wrapped a while ago.
Yeah, so like basically, there's potential for him to have cameos in Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3, which opens in a couple of weeks here, and in the Marvels, which is the next movie, and he's in every episode of Loki season 2. He may be in Secret Avengers, that we don't know, but beyond that, he's in nothing else. And as Tom said, they might right now be at an inflection point where they're about to start shooting something or developing the next big thing, and they need to make a disappointment now soon. Do we move forward with this guy? Do we risk him being in trials that's going to overshadow everything we do? Like, for instance, if he's like doing court rounds in May, just as Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3 opens, is that like do they want that heat? So they may have been at the point where they had to decide.
Well, Guardians is kind of in trouble as it is right now. Pre-sales are way behind. They're about 75% of what Quantumania was.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, we'll dive into that into a separate topic. But with respect to Kang on a whole, with Jonathan Majors. Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, I was just going to say. So with the Jonathan Majors situation, Andrew's 100% right. They absolutely don't want anything swirling around related to him. Going into this open, and this film needs good word of mouth, and if Kang's in it and all this stuff's going on in the courts, it's going to impact the box office in a huge way. I mean, Disney's already untrusted. People are already questioning Disney's brand, and their family friendly tag. Now, I mean, I'm one of them. I'm going to keep pushing on that door until they turn back from the dark side. But it just, like you said, if Kang is going to be Jonathan Majors, he's got to figure out a way in order not to lose his job, although it sounds like he may have already lost it, to clear his name now. He can't wait.
Well, there was a sort of an eerie level of silence ever since the first weekend of news that dropped. I mean, there's been nothing ever since, basically, which is pretty major. You'd expect there to be a little bit more, maybe just something at the very least, especially if they're like, we've got evidence, blah, blah, blah. You'd expect something to come out. And I think it's been a real shame as well. So every time I do a video on it, you get the same nonsense that comes in. So, people go, oh, they're just doing this because he's black. You wouldn't know because you're not black. That's a ludicrous statement to make. Absolutely ludicrous. I'm not placating to that nonsense attitude or the victimhood mentality that some people choose to self-inflict upon themselves. And then there's been other people that, say that, well, if the girl grabbed, this is the one which really baffles me. People say if his girlfriend grabbed his phone, she deserved it. And I'm like, what? Even, right? So I used to be a bouncer. So I used to be a security guard. I used to work nightclub doors way, way, way back in another life. And you could get away with quite a lot on the doors because you do something called a preemptive strike where you put hands on people, right? You can only get away with so much as a preemptive strike because there's still appropriate levels of force involved, even in a preemptive strike. Even in a strike, like there's still appropriate levels of force on repercussions as well. Like, so if someone grabs your phone, I don't think an appropriate level of force would be to choke her out on the floor and put her in hospital. Funnily enough, right? Now, this is just going off the scenario that is actually the case.
Especially if they're not being aggressive, right? Like, basically.
If someone's just grabbing a phone, I mean, fuck me. Like, you don't put hands and choke them out, put a laceration on their face and bruises and stuff. I mean, it's absolute madness. The levels of what she deserved it and blah, blah, blah. It's just shocking. Now, obviously, we don't know what's happened, right? The text messages that did reveal didn't look great in general. Like, it did look like a victim messaging an abuser, being like, I'm so sorry, please don't abuse me further. I love you. There was slated to be a video. That hasn't materialized. Did it happen in a taxi? Did it also happen in an apartment? If it happened in the taxi, then the video is not going to show anything. It's all over the place. So we don't actually know what's happened. We don't know what's happened at all.
Can I just very briefly summarize the text messages? Because to me, because to me they read like, "I'm so sorry, I made you send me to the hospital."
Yeah. No, please do.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's what they read like.
Well, and there's another argument
like her apologizing for making him send her to the hospital.
And there could be an argument made also that he's her financial income.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, so there could be reasons why she is trying to change her tune there. And we also noticed from the text, and I think you pointed out the other day, Mr. H, that he has his first court date coming up here. So that's another reason why they may have made this decision now, because they know he's going to be in the headlines. So they would much rather probably have former Marvel star blah, 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 blah than Marvel star blah, 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 blah in the headlines, I think, maybe. And that's just me. I can see from a business standpoint where they probably didn't want to beat around the bush or drag their feet on this. And if Loki 2 is the only other thing that he's in, and I think that's coming up here in a couple months. So once they get that out of the way, then they'll probably softly announce that some other actor's coming in to take the role, and then that'll be it.
Yeah, I mean, look, in an ideal world, this whole thing is just a big misunderstanding. No one's a woman beater and no one's a liar, right? Because obviously both situations are awful. You know,
Right.
I wouldn't wish that on anyone, either scenario, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see what happens from here. But it is one of those situations where it's kind of a lose-lose moving forwards, because no matter what the outcome, it's not going to be a big misunderstanding. Someone would have done something, whether it be a liar, whether it be an abuser, and none of it's good, none of it's right. So it is a bit of a lose-lose situation. But Andre, I'm aware. Do you need to dip out now? Is that right? I couldn't quite understand your messages
Yeah, I got
there.
a couple of more minutes, but I got to drop out soon here.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just get to. I think there was 2 super chats that dropped in, so we'll get to them, and then you can drop out if you want before the next topic. Douglas 1985 VA loves horror for $4.99 says, Tom, I know you liked the Batman trailer, being that you loved the Batman. I don't understand why you think it's the best Batman movie, but okay.
I know.
Blatant sarcasm going on there. Dear, oh dear.
I like it though. It's interesting. At least, the penguin thing. Hey,
did you like the trailer? Because we've already talked about that.
I didn't. I kind of barely grazed the trailer because, again, I did not like. Obviously, with the sarcasm in that, I didn't like the Batman. Don't really care about this.
The trailer looks really good, mate. It honestly looks like The Godfather meets Gotham City. It looks really good.
Yeah, really I might check into it, but I doubt it, just because it just that whole movie rubbed me the wrong way, unfortunately.
Me and Nate are now in the minority on this panel.
The 2 ends are in we're minority ends.
But Tom, my thoughts are the same as Nate's. I really did enjoy the trailer. I think the show will be good, and it might make you forget how bad the Batman was. So.
Oh yeah, true.
I don't think anything can make me forget how bad that was. That was hands down one of the worst experiences I'd ever had in a theater where nobody else was involved.
Well, look, Tom, no offense, mate. Well, I'm going to call you out on your lack of movie watching. If you went to the theatre more, Tom, you would have worse experiences.
That's one of the reasons why I don't go to the theater, because I generally do have bad experiences, and when the Batman is the worst of them all, like, that's pretty bad. Like,
my issue is that this is a movie Klaus Schwab would approve of. That's my issue with it.
Oh dear God!
I just hated the subtext, and the messaging was downright insulting and offensive.
Right, we're not getting into retrospective. Tom working for $5 says Terrence Howard got replaced by Don Hotel Rwanda Cheadle. One of the majors, no one is indispensable.
Let's not forget Edward Norton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he was famously quite difficult to work with, wasn't he? That's why
they even humiliated him on the way out the door. They basically issued a press release saying that this guy is an asshole and difficult to work with, and he's freaking done. They didn't use those exact words.
That is actually Perlmutter, I think, behind that one.
But that was pretty close to it. So, Perlmutter must have issued that statement. And also, they did recast one of the Warriors 3, and no one noticed. I mean,
that's
true.
They
recast the guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
That is true. Well, Andre, do you want to duck out now before we move on to the next topic?
Yes, I have to duck out. I just want to say thanks for having me, and I'll be seeing you all around.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
See you, Andre.
Take care.
Bye, Andre.
Tom, before we hit this next topic, did you see the new episode of Picard?
I have not seen an episode since part 3.
Oh boy.
I did watch the Next Generation movies on 4K this week instead, though.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, this episode, top notch, man. Top notch.
Okay.
I have heard 2 polarizing things on this episode. I've heard people say that they are done, they are out, and then I've heard people just like gush over it. So I have no idea what happened, and
Right. Well, we'll move on to our next topic.
I'm looking forward to Tuesday when I say Nick was either right or Nick was wrong, and I'll say it loud for the people in the back in here.
So, ladies and gents, let's another sort of Marvel-ish topic anyway. Well, it is Marvel. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is tracking to $130 million US opening. Now, this is as part of Deadline's breaking news. Box office projections aren't always the be all and end all, right? You know, they often get beat. They often get, underserved. There's many different ways that this can go. But this is interesting nonetheless, because normally mainstream media likes to put a spin on all of this stuff, right? So Disney Marvel Studios Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 landed on tracking today before its summer season launch date of Friday, May 5th. And it's looking like $130 million domestic start. That is lower than the 146.5 stateside opening of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which also kicked off summer, and distribution sources specify that the campaign for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 hasn't really fired up to its full potential yet. Well, you fucking don't have long to do it.
You got 2 weeks. Wake up.
You don't have long to do it at all. What are you doing? Hence, there's nothing to worry about. All right.
You want to know why I don't think we've seen a campaign yet? Is because I don't think they have the money for it.
No.
I don't think they want to spend any more money on this than they already have.
Now, they do try to spin this, though, guys. The highest domestic opening for a Marvel Studios movie post-pandemic belongs to Spider-Man No Way Home, and after that, it's Doctor Strange. So that's, Doctor Strange did 187.4. So they're trying to sort of spin it that it's not going to be as.
They should have also pointed out that Doctor Strange was the first movie out after No Way Home as well.
Yeah,
and that character also appeared in Spider-Man No Way Home as well.
Yeah, and look at the reception Doctor Strange 2 got.
A very good one.
A lot of people went out there to go see it because it's like, okay, this is one of the OG Avenger cast members here,
and they got bait and switched.
And then we got Multiverse of Madness. What all people are going to show? There was a lot of hype around it with the Multiverse of Madness and what all other characters and cameos from other movies were going to be a part of it. And then you go look at the audience scores on it, and it wasn't. No, it wasn't top tier.
No,
but it's another embarrassment for Marvel and Disney in general, because you literally just had Super Mario opening to $204.6 million domestic, just domestic.
Kids film, a 4-quadrant family film. Nobody trusts Disney anymore. This thing is running 30% behind sales for Mom.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's not.
Excuse me, not Mom. Ant-Man, Quantumania. It's running 30% behind that.
Well, I mean, it's still going to be about $200 million movie easily. Easily. Give them a. Let's be fair. I don't know. Maybe $100 million on marketing. $300 million.
This is the safest bet that Disney has this year. And I think the only reason
isn't even doing very well. Christ, that's saying something, right?
And the only reason I think this is sitting where it's at, where they're not too confident with it, has everything to do with how basically Bob Iger got dick slapped, for lack of a better term, at the earnings call, and Victoria Alonso getting fired. Add in the Jonathan Majors stuff. Like, there has been nothing but bad news for Marvel for the past few weeks. And then look at how that trailer landed without any noise whatsoever. Nobody was really talking about it. Like, we were, but it wasn't trending. You weren't hearing any hype or anything like you would normally for a trailer. I haven't even looked at the numbers to see how it's playing there, but even on the ratio, like thumb-wise, it wasn't doing very well for a Marvel film. They are in a downward spiral, and everybody's starting to point it out. Like, we're not the only ones anymore. That's the thing. And it's been, the media's been hedging a little bit when it comes to Marvel. They're no longer the sure thing they used to be, I think. And I feel bad because Guardians is the only one of the movies I'm looking forward to out of the MCU, and there was a time when I said, this is $1 billion film, no problem. Now I'm not so sure. And I mean, we've been saying that for the past few weeks, but I mean, I'm really getting to that point where I'm like,
I don't think it's $1 billion film. So it's interesting, right? Is that the first trailer they released, looking at Marvel Entertainment YouTube channel, the first trailer, which was released 4 months ago, 28 million views, right? So that's that first one where people are like, I'm fear of missing out, FOMO. I'm going to have a look at this. Let's see whether this is any good or not, right? Yeah, so it makes sense that the numbers of that trailer will be quite high. But the next trailer that released 2 months ago, So what? We're 2 months apart. Guess the views. Just so from 28. Guess the views.
12.
Yeah, 13.
Oh, wow.
So that's saying something, right? Like the interest is staggered off a cliff.
Well,
Absolutely fallen off a cliff.
It didn't help that the widespread leaks came out the way that they did. You know, and again, I feel like Marvel's killed their own brand. But you're 100% right. That is not the right direction to go in interest. You know what? I'd be interested.
Shouldn't peter off by half.
No.
Well, over half. Like that's way wrong. Way wrong. It should still, be. I would expect still 20 million at least. People are still interested. They want to see the new trailer. Drop by 8 million. I could see that. That makes sense.
Tom, what do you think the film's going to make at the end of the day?
Frankly, I think it's going to settle somewhere in the $700 to $800 million range now.
I was about to say $800 million.
I think it might do a little bit better than that. I think it's going to do closer to what Doctor Strange did than Wakanda, or actually Wakanda did closer to that. But what's the other one I'm thinking of? The one that was in between those two, the real dumper, Thor Love and Thunder, which
Thunder.
That, I mean, clearly was a disappointment to them by far.
Mm.
I think it's going to perform a little bit better than that, but it's going to be hard pressed to do better than Doctor Strange.
I don't think it's gonna do Strange money at all. I think it might make 750. If I'm wrong, I'd love to be wrong. I'd love for this film to be.
I have a hard time thinking it won't do at least 8 unless the movie is really bad. Like if we're completely off on this one and James Gunn really screwed the pooch, which I just don't see happening. Because I know some people didn't care for the second one as much, but like to me, the first two films are some of the best of the Marvel films, and they stand alone, right? Like you don't need everything else around them to really watch and enjoy them. And that's the only thing going against this third film is it has all the baggage from Endgame and all the other stuff going into it, Infinity War and all that stuff. So yeah,
could there be audience hesitancy because they've been burned so many times by the recent Marvel films?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Quantumania's come out in between those two trailer releases, right? I think.
Yeah.
So, when did Quantumania come out?
February, I think it was.
Yeah, it was, and it was god awful.
So that might work out timing wise. For the
what was it? The third trailer.
I haven't seen the third trailer, so I can't see the upload date. February 12th. So when did Ant-Man and the Wasp come out?
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was early February, if I remember right. Let me look it up. But
look it up if you can.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
February 17th.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So not between them. That one came out before Quantumania. So maybe it just shows interest in Marvel is starting to go down.
Yeah.
Was there any Marvel?
That's
TV
what I was
shows
saying.
released?
Not right now that are live. I think they're in between now.
If this thing opens, okay, so if it opens like Quantumania,
I just read a thing the other day that said we're in the middle of the biggest gap ever for Marvel stuff or something like that between when we get Guardians of the Galaxy to the Marvels or something like that. Basically, I can't remember exactly how they put it, but like it'll be the longest gap we've ever had where there wasn't something Marvel going on.
If it opens the same as Quantumania, no wonder they're saying 130. That's like right in line with Quantumania. That's why they're saying 130 right now.
That makes sense.
Holy cow.
It's not good. Not good at all. I mean, look, I reckon 800 million. I don't think this is not $1 billion movie. It has to have very good word of mouth. Opening weekend has to be incredibly it could do the 130 million opening weekend, but the word of mouth has to be insane. The talk all around the internet has to be about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but
that's the only way that this will do well.
People could get turned off because of the spoilers that were out there being talked about, coming to pass. I told Tom my original reasoning for worrying about this film was because there are going to be some characters that won't be around anymore. So I'm just you know, that's going to hurt this film.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Look, this is all speculation on our parts, but you know, I'm pretty good at spotting trends. This is not the trend you want to be in right now. And if we end up with Kang in this,
true. Very, very true. Very, very, very true.
I don't know.
Right. So, well, let's do it. So, culture.
Yeah.
I give $800 million. That's my prediction. Culture. What's your prediction?
Look, it's gonna.
Total?
I've said for a long time now. I think it makes 750. It might make 800 million, but I'm gonna stay that if I'm gonna be held to a specific number, 750.
Okay.
And actually, Nate,
we'll revisit this opening weekend as well.
Yeah.
Because I think that'll be important.
It'll be very telling. It'll be very telling.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting if our votes change. Tom, what's your bet on total?
I'm gonna say it's gonna do,
because it can change. Remember?
Yeah. I'm gonna say it's gonna do better than Ant-Man.
That would be hard.
that's not difficult.
No, but again,
What did Ant-Man end up with at the end?
490 odd or something like that.
Yeah, I thought you meant just the opening weekend is what you were asking.
Oh,
we already,
no,
we already said our total amount. Well, we already said that 700 to 800 million. So like,
okay. I'm trying to tie you down to an actual figure.
Yeah, about like I said, 800. I'll go with.
Oh wow, okay.
All right, Nick, what's yours?
I'm at overall $1 trillion. No, seriously. So I'm thinking around the 650 million range. Like I don't think it's gonna go above that because all the people I talk to in my personal life, friends, family, nobody cares about what's happening in Marvel right now. Nobody's talking about the movie. I think it'll do decent, but I think it'll struggle. I think opening weekend will be right below to maybe just a little above the 100 million mark, and I'll be surprised if it gets over 650.
Wow. Okay. Well,
I think interest for all Marvel stuff's just in the toilet right now.
Well, okay.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But you're right, because I think there's audience hesitancy, and I think that Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania was proof of that. $466 million. That film lost $100 million at least.
Yeah.
Well. So those are our predictions. We'll revisit this opening weekend. I think that's. I like doing this. It's always interesting. Now, this is just based on what we do and what we sort of talk about on our ears to the ground. Opening weekend can change it drastically, so we shall have a look. I've got some super chats just dropped in, guys. So if you want to support the show, please do. Super chats are a good way to do that. But I will say as well, please do check out the second channel linked in the description box, Missed H Reviews Live Archives. It's where the streams go up, and it's where all the best bits of the streams go as well. After the fact, they all get clipped. So head on over there and check out everyone's channel, which is linked down below, as well as my second/third channel. I haven't spoke about it for a while, but it's coming back. You've all seen this. You've seen this crap on my sofa for a little while, my couch. I've got a car channel, if you didn't know. That's linked down below, but it's been inactive for like a year.
Is that for the truck or the car? All those car parts.
So this is actually all for the car, but got an update on the truck. It's booked in for paint.
Oh, okay.
Yes, fucking finally booked in for paint. God, finally. This is such a pain in the ass. Anyway, so if you want to check out a bit of vlog stuff, videos will start back on that soon. You want to see where all of this stuff goes.
Do you have a garage where you keep all these cars?
No, I've got a home gym in my garage.
Oh.
I should actually get my home gym out of there, but I'm planning on doing like a shed/home gym, and then one space in the garage, because then garages in the UK, there's a premium for space in the UK. So garages are not actually wide; they're really tiny. So it'll probably only fit one, barely fit one of the older retro cars in, because they're so narrow. So anyway, whatever. It's all. Check out that channel; you might like it, and it will start up soon. Promise. Anyway. Super chat. So Tom Workin says, yeah, frickin' Ed Norton, great performer, got the boot. He is a great actor. Edward Norton's a great actor. He's brilliant.
American History X is one of my favorite movies that he's in.
Yeah, he's very, very, very good. Mexican Iron Man for $10 says, breaking news, new Disney Plus show, The Mexalorian, coming soon. Nick, boom, cancelled. You can do that. You can do that live. You're gonna
Yeah,
give us a
boom, canceled. With the big canceled stamp on the screen.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then Tom working for $2 says, Adam Warlock will go on after Guardians of the Galaxy, my guess. Yeah, I don't know, you know. I don't know whether they would keep him around. They like to get rid of villains pretty quickly, don't they? Does Marvel. So I have no idea. Any thoughts on Adam Warlock continuing afterwards or not?
I hope he's not a one-trick pony, a one and done character in the movie. But I don't know. I don't know how much justice they're gonna give him as a character in this.
Yeah, I don't hold out hope for that. To be
fair.
So our last topic is actually one for me and Nick. I'm not sure whether Tom. I'm pretty certain you haven't been watching it. I know Culture is going to be dipping out now as well, but basically, me and Nick are going to be talking about the Mandalorian episode, the latest one, the penultimate, the one before.
Yeah.
So, Tom, I don't know if you've been watching Mandalorian or not. No, all right. Well, I will relinquish. You can disappear because I know probably going to be a bit boring to listen to me and Nick talking about this. If you do want to dip out, Tom, just say, and we shall say our farewells. I know Culture, you're buggering off now, but nice to have you on, buddy. Do you want to just quickly plug your channel, what you're up to?
Yeah, my channel is Culture Casino. In fact, I'm Culture Casino pretty much everywhere: Odyssey, Rumble, Twitter, Minds, whatever. Very simple because I'm a simple guy. But I do talk a little bit about business, the business side of entertainment, and why things don't make sense. I try to look more at a big picture than I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people like to focus on minutia and stuff, and sometimes that needs to be directed towards why decisions are being made. I don't think they do that very effectively, so I try to do that. But I have a 6-minute daily every weekday show that I do, which is entertainment news and pop culture and a little bit of actual global news as well. And late night Sundays, which I'll never get Nate on, is a lot of fun.
Late.
It's a lot of fun. It would be
maybe when I'm done dieting.
It'd be really early in the morning for you is what it'll be, but it's always a lot of fun. So anyway, I'm going to dip out. Thank you so much again. I love hanging out with you guys, and
we'll see you again on Tuesday.
That's right.
Watch Renfield tomorrow.
I will have seen Renfield. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. See you guys later.
See you, Culture.
Take care, buddy. Tom, what you got going on? You want to plug anything before me?
Midnight's Edge After Dark. Normal stuff. So yeah, I'll be around. Morning show.
Right. And hopefully you'll be on this one on time next week.
I have no idea what's going on anymore. I'm like, I thought it started at whatever.
You want to check your DMs on Twitter because I linked it.
Did you link the actual show? I was gonna say I just saw the one link, but yeah. I think
I just linked the. But then when you go on it, it should tell you, doesn't it? Does it not tell you?
Here's the problem with this, and this is what I was telling you before, not to get into too much background talk, but like for some reason, it seems like certain days when you drop like a video that's closer to the show, I have a hard time finding the live show, and it won't give me that.
Yeah, I have the same problem.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the reason or if it's just certain things, but like certain days, I have even when I go to your page, it won't show up the live show sometimes. I don't get it. We have the same problem too. We've had people say it. I don't know if it's a YouTube thing or what the deal is, which is stupid because I'm subscribed to you. I have the alerts. I get your alerts for most of your videos in the day.
Yeah,
like after like the first few, then I don't get any more.
Maybe it's a timing thing then. Later in the day, there's too many, or the server. Who knows?
I heard if you make right before, like maybe 10 minutes before the stream starts, because you already set the stream up, it's already out there, people can see what time it starts, but 10 minutes before it starts, or even 5, if you do a community post.
I did.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. All right. It's all right. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, I never see community posts. Yeah, but anyway,
it's all good. All right. Cheers, buddy.
Take care.
Right. Well, Nick, I want to hear your thoughts on the episode, and we're sort of just. So we're going to talk about the latest Mandalorian episode, just as an FYI, guys. We'll talk full spoilers, I guess. Not really much to spoil. Well, there is stuff to spoil, but not really.
Yeah.
What did you think? What did you think of the episode overall?
So overall, I gave the episode a 6 out of 10. Mainly
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
mainly because of the visuals, the cinematography, a lot of the shots with the ships and stuff I thought looked really cool. I love seeing the TIE interceptors, the TIE bombers in there, the Mandalorian fleet, you know, them all coming together. There was some cool stuff in there, but there was also a lot of dumb stuff in there. Hey, Nikki. So yeah, she's the one that did the reaction with me. And yeah, she gave it a 5. So I was just like one notch above her.
What did you think about? So yeah, so there was a lot of good stuff, but to me, it just didn't gel.
Yeah, it seemed like a garbled mess a little bit.
That's what I said. I was like, yeah, all the right ingredients, but it just didn't gel properly. And it seemed like some real bad editing as well.
Very bad editing. I was just getting ready to say the exact same thing. Whoever edited this episode, I thought did a horrible job. I mean, abysmal. I thought the editing was terrible. Grogu in the freaking IG.
Do you remember? So Grogu gets in an IG-11 and walks it around as a suit, basically, a suit of armor. Yeah. I remember when the leaks came out around that, and I was like, "That does not sound good."
No,
that doesn't sound good. I hope that's fake. It turns out to be completely true. All the leaks surrounding these shows always turn out to be true.
Yeah, and I knew what was going to happen in this episode. I just didn't. I hadn't seen it from start to finish, so there was a couple things like I didn't know that there was going to be a new kind of trooper for Moff Gideon or what they look like.
Trooper.
Yeah, the Mando troopers. Oh my god! And then that fight with them at the end.
Well, what the hell was up with the fight at the end? I gotta bitch about this. What was up with the fight at the end, right? So they get locked in between two blast doors, right? Din Djarin's out there on the other side getting captured. Oh my god! Oh. Everyone's like, oh, what can we do? What can we do? Moff Gideon hasn't turned up yet. They're just standing there watching Din Djarin get captured, right?
Yep.
And then Moff Gideon turns up, taunts Bo-Katan,
talking,
and then eventually Bo-Katan's like, oh, I've got the Darksaber. I'll just use this to escape. Fucking use that to save Din, you dumb fuck.
Yeah, the
logical inconsistencies on this show really annoyed me. It really annoyed me. I'm like, what? And why did you go out there and save Paz Vizsla? What are you doing?
Literally, while we were watching it, I'm like, you got the Darksaber, use it. Cut through the door. I literally said that while we were on the live stream talking about it, watching it. But then she cuts the door for them to escape.
The smallest hole as well.
Yeah. I'm like, really? Oh, come on. This is getting ridiculous. And the cool stuff, it's just at this point, it's like too little, too late for me. With this season of Mandalorian.
With this episode 7, they got one more left, and they barely done anything.
Yeah,
what have they done? They wasted time on fat ass Lizzo. What the fucking hell, man!
This whole season has just been a head scratcher. I'm just like, who's running things over here? You know, and then what really pisses me off even more is I'm watching Picard season 3 and seeing the level of writing and the level of competence in that show, and I'm like, good God, why couldn't the people at Lucasfilm not understand and get writers like this? I really would love if Lucasfilm hired Terry Matalas to do something with Star Wars. Because
just get Favreau back. It's very clear he's not on board now.
It's
clear he's not on board. Just get Favreau back.
Yeah, they killed his character off, you know, for one, and then the rumors are circling that he might not even come back for season 4. He's already written it, but he might hand that off to Filoni and bounce out. And then the culmination of the whole Mando verse
Filoni
is Filoni, and he's not even tied to it. So it's like, I can totally see him. He's either getting pushed out or he told them, look, I can't deal with the level of incompetence and stupidity from the people here. After the season, I'm done, or after the 4th season, that's my last season. I'm out.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're like, all the stuff you want to do, we don't like. So you're going to do what we want. And then you're gone. So one way or another, it seems like he's on his way out the door, which is unfortunate because I think he is a good writer, even though he's listed as the writer on a lot of these episodes that are just like, really? Favreau wrote this?
Well, he would have done story, I reckon, and then
Yeah.
people wrote it, so he gets like story credit, but other people have actually written it into a script format. And the whole thing just, I didn't like Moff Gideon. Like, we're going backwards as well. We're going backwards, right? And this is just a logical inconsistency of the universe. So Moff Gideon created Dark Troopers, droids, who were so brutal, Luke fucking Skywalker had to come in and save them, right?
Yeah.
Without Luke Skywalker, they'd
Those
all be
things wrecked.
dead.
Yeah.
They would be all dead.
So why would you not just make more?
What's Moff Gideon got to done is gone, we just get some Mando armor and put it on some incompetent stormtroopers instead, because they all bloody got shot down.
Yeah,
there were so many of them that got killed, even with the Mandalorian armor.
Yep.
So like, what's the point? Like, you've already reached peak. The droids were the peak. They were great. We know that because they were a force to be reckoned with. A Jedi had to come out of hiding to kill them. A Jedi.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I thought it was dumb. But I will say, I when Moff Gideon came down with his helmet on, I thought that was cool. I liked it.
I did not like that. I hated it.
I thought it looked
dumb.
Cool.
It even had little horns.
The horns and stuff. I could have done without the horns.
And where did the Praetorian Guards come from?
I guess they were sent.
Just a side. No. I know they were sent, but where did they come from on that landing? They didn't have a jetpack. They just walked out. Where did they walk out from?
They were offset, and then
offset,
filming was ready to start. They just walked onto set.
Fucking.
And the Mandalorian mythosaur emblem on the bottom of the
that was cool.
captured Star Destroyer or the ship that Moff Gideon had was cool. But when did they have time to paint that, and where did they find all the paint?
Oh, it's pretty bloody big, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, good Lord, man, how much did that cost? And when did they have time to do this?
I don't know. What a shame. What an absolute shame. Massively downhill.
And we got one episode left. And
that's the thing that annoys me the most, is that they've now rushed to the end. They've had so much nonsense episodes that now they're rushing to the end, and now they're going, oh, look, Moff Gideon's back. Yeah, we know you teased him. We could have had a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
You could have given us a little bit more. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this season at all. This last episode, Filoni says, fans are going to be pumped and excited, like it's going to be like the return of Luke or something.
Sure.
I think it's probably going to be another
Ahsoka.
Yeah, like
it'll be Ahsoka,
or it's going to be the mythosaur.
With Ahsoka,
she's going to tame it, and she's going to like wipe out that whole Gideon base with the mythosaur, and then everybody's going to be like, yay, Bo-Katan, she's the hero, she's the leader now. And then Mando's going to run around saying my queen all the time to her. And he kind of did that in this episode.
Yeah, we follow you because of this.
Yeah. So
I don't know, disappointing.
Yeah, I think it's a complete joke, a complete failure. And that's the state of Disney Star Wars, unfortunately.
And this is coming from me. I liked the first 2 seasons, right? Like,
I did
thought
too.
The first 2 seasons were great. So
I had some issues with it, but yeah.
Yeah, and I was excited to see it come back, and it's just been terribly organized. The idea. This is the thing. The ideas are all there. they haven't organized them properly, and so it's been terribly written overall. Not good. What a shame. What a massive shame.
And have you heard the spoilers about what's supposed to happen next week?
No.
Do you want to know?
I don't know if anyone in the chat cares. Just
if you guys don't want to know, and this is just rumor. I mean, this stuff might not even happen. I'm not saying it's for sure happening. I'm just saying this is what I'm hearing. So if you don't want to hear, just mute for like 10 or 15 seconds. But anyways, so apparently next week's episode, Din Djarin's gonna die, and Emperor Palpatine is gonna be back.
That is so rushed.
Yeah,
that's so rushed.
They're gonna show Palpatine, the Project Necromancer, and how he's orchestrating all this stuff, which is just tying into the sequel trilogy stuff.
Rubbish. I mean, I know that they've got to, but still, that's a rubbish. That's rushing to the end, which they shouldn't do.
Yeah,
there's plenty of time where they could. Fuck it. If that does actually happen next week, I'm gonna be bitterly disappointed. So, what a shame.
People are gonna riot.
Yeah, they'll be really annoyed. I mean, this is just. It makes sense as to why they were then setting up Bo-Katan as the Mandalorian.
I find the Din Djarin dying one hard to believe, but I can totally see them bringing Palpatine in there. I mean, Ian McDermott's still alive. He filmed some stuff for Kenobi. They might have had him film some just a quick small scene for this show. So yeah, I can totally see that happening. But the Din one is a little bit harder for me to believe, but we'll see what happens. Because, rumor has it Pedro Pascal's not happy. There's a lot of tension between him and everybody there that's on the show, and they're basically killing his character off, and Bo-Katan's gonna take over, and that's why this season it seemed like it's the Bo-Katan show, because they're
it makes sense.
Slowly writing. Because even in this last episode, if you look when they're going to Mandalore, Grogu's sitting in her lap.
I know, I did see that. I was like,
on the ship.
What it was odd, really odd choices. Really odd choices.
Yes. I was like, oh my God, shut up.
I know.
So annoying.
That's just to sell a toy. That's literally just
exactly. So there was so much in this that was like it had merchandise written all over it,
massively,
over it. And I'm like, I'm not buying any of this crap.
No,
none of it.
No, I mean, I like my nerd shit. Even I've even got the Batmobile down there. You can't see it. I've
sweet.
got the Batmobile down there. It's really cool. It's even got light up sounds.
Is that a stripe?
Yeah. I got striped gremlin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Loads of random shit. Anyway, the merch plugs were blatant and very, very painful.
Yeah.
But that about wraps this up, ladies and gents. I will say, guys, we'll be doing a members only stream after this one. So that's a patron and members only stream. If you want to join, you have to be a member or a patron. So you can find links to that in the description box. But please do head on over there. You'll find it in the community tab shortly. Or over on Patreon. Nick, what have you got coming up? Have you got any chill streams?
Surprisingly, again, no chill stream tonight. We didn't have one Tuesday night. We're not having a chill stream tonight. Tonight we're going to be on Drunk 3PO's channel. Jay had invited us over there to talk all this crazy Star Wars news and Mando stuff. So we'll be over there at 8 Central tonight, I believe.
Yeah.
And then we got our big Saturday night weekly show Saturday at 7 Central.
Oh, we do actually have a few super chats just real quick. So Finbar White for £5 says, hi, Mr. Agent Panel, hope you're well. Do you think Mario going on Disney Plus in July will help Disney Plus? Is Mario going on Disney Plus?
No way.
It can't. They've got their own. I don't believe that. Is it?
Yeah, I don't think it's going on Disney Plus. It's going on hang on. Let me confirm, because I saw where it's going.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going on Disney Plus. Tom working for $2 says they nerf major characters now. Absolutely. Absolutely, they do. And again, it says you guys are old and belong in a museum. Grogu and a mecha IG. I'd buy that action figure. Want to see Todd McFarlane do a figure? Todd McFarlane figures, they're not as good as they were before.
Oh, when they first came out, man. Oh, everybody was talking about them.
They're not that paint's real bad on them now.
Yeah.
They've gone majorly downhill. Tom Wilkins says for the kids. Yeah. Have you found out where Mario's going?
So it looks like it's going to be going on Peacock.
Yeah, I thought it can't go on Disney Plus.
Yep.
Anyway, but there you go. It's not going on Disney Plus. So
and then after 4 months, it'll go to Netflix. So 4 months on Peacock, and then it will go to Netflix.
Awesome. So anything to plug, Nick?
Nope, not other than the Drunk 3PO stream tonight on his channel, and then our Saturday night live stream. And other than that, go watch Picard season 3.
Fuck's sake. Well, anyway, from me and Nick, and obviously everyone else who's left, thank you so much for watching the stream. We do this podcast every Tuesday and Thursday, so please do check it out. Hit subscribe on the second channel, linked in the description box, and everyone else's channel. But again, from me and Nick, thank you so much. Take care, ladies and gents. See you in the members chat. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.